Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Victory Sunday, as it were. Seahawks getting the win last night. And I think people are still kind of processing how they feel about this team after the probably the most important preseason game. I don't think you're going to see as many starters in the Green Bay game as you did last night. So I think we're still trying to figure out how we feel about where the team is. I think most people are pretty positive. There are some areas of concern, of course, but while we're processing how we feel, I want to go through some of the injury updates we got from Carroll after the game last night. And he gave us a little bit of stuff from the game last night. He also gave us some of the stuff outside the game. So I want to go through it here real quick. We're going to start with the one that probably got the most attention yesterday, which was Drew Lock. Drew Lock obviously got hurt on a low hit from a Cowboys defender. Forsyth got beat really badly, but was able to kind of get involved in pass protection on one play when Seattle was near the red zone. And because of the way things went, the Dallas player ended up going low into Lock, and Lock got hurt. He stayed in the game through a completion and was he handed the ball off on the touchdown, but he was hurt. So Carroll fills this in a little bit here. This is a tweet from Greg Bell last night. Drew Lock has a little bit of a strain in the back of his knee, a little hyperextension. But Seahawks think he's okay and that he can play in next week's preseason finale at Green Bay. Curtis Crabtree over here with Drew Lock. The quote from Drew Lock is, "It's good. It scared him for a second, just kind of precautionary. It'll be all right. The testing didn't show any issues. So basically, the only thing that could keep Drew Lock out of the preseason game next week would be if he just doesn't feel right, because there's nothing in the test that they did that indicate there's anything wrong. So it looks like Drew Lock made it out of that game fine. He's cool. He's good. And he will be ready to go next week against the Packers, which is kind of a big deal because I don't think we're going to see very much Geno, if any Geno at all, next week. So if Drew Lock was hurt, that means it's 4 quarters of Holton Ahlers. And I know we like Holton Ahlers, and he's fun to watch, but it's much easier to evaluate these other offensive players when somebody like Drew Lock is out there throwing them the ball. Like the way Holton floats the ball, it's a lot harder to evaluate receivers and tight ends when he's the one out there. So this actually does kind of matter because next week we're going to be making our final determinations on who makes the team and who doesn't, and having Drew Lock out there able to actually hit these guys down the field and make NFL caliber throws is going to matter. So good news here on Drew Lock, he's fine. The only other injury of note from the game yesterday on the Seahawks side of things is Cody Thompson. Carroll said that Cody Thompson hurt his shoulder a bit on the catch when he was tackled on the sidelines. Cody made one really good catch yesterday, and he paid the price for it, it looks like. I believe that Cody Thompson ended up going on IR last season because of a shoulder injury. So we really don't want it to be the same shoulder, because if he goes on IR again with the same shoulder injury, at that point you start to wonder if this is just going to derail his career. Not that Cody Thompson's a future star in this league or anything, he's a guy, but we like him. We like having him around. There's been a lot said positively about him from training camp and the OTAs. So we're going to hope that Cody Thompson's okay, because the way I see it, Seahawks 5 receiver set is already pretty well established. I think I know who the 5 receivers are going to be on the active roster. And as of right now, I think your practice squad receivers are going to be Matt Landers, Tyjon Lindsey, and probably Cody Thompson. And if Cody Thompson gets hurt seriously to where he maybe goes on IR, then that's a little bit of a loss to the practice squad. And I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but Cody Thompson was a guy that it seemed like the quarterbacks were really comfortable working with in practice. So if something really bad happened to our receivers on the active roster, Cody Thompson could be a surprising call-up. Like, you would probably call Cody Thompson up over a guy like Matt Landers, who is very talented but clearly not ready to play in the NFL. So hopefully Cody's okay. If this injury is serious, then maybe Aesop Winston takes that practice squad spot. I don't know. But I think that Cody Thompson is the one guy to keep an eye on going forward. And I know it's not going to matter a lot, but it's going to matter some. That's about it in terms of injuries in the game yesterday. Obviously, DeMarvin Overshone got hurt, and it sounds like he's actually torn his ACL, so he's done for the year on the Dallas side. But Seattle side, fairly clean. But Carroll did decide to supplement what he was saying about the injuries in the game yesterday with some of the stuff from before the game. So he talked about Jordan Brooks a little bit, and the indication is this week Jordan Brooks is going to return to practice at full speed. He's actually going to be out there hitting. He's going to be out there running at full speed. He's going to be working with the team. And what a quick trip back for Brooks. Whatever you want to say about Jordan Brooks and his flaws as a player, and I know some of you guys do, and I certainly do at times as well, you got to give him a lot of credit for the way he's come back. And this has been a process that I fully expected to take him out for the entire season, and it's looking like he may very well not miss a game. It's possible he doesn't miss a game. Now, I'm going to continue to stay on the same note that I've been on for a while now. Don't expect Jordan Brooks to be just everything that he was before. There is going to be a bit of a process to getting him back there that might take a lot of this season, maybe even the whole season. But according to Carroll, he's about to start practicing hard. So we kind of have a little bit of a timetable for how this works. Brooks gets off the PUP last week. Now he's practicing full this week. If Adams can get off the PUP this week, maybe he'll be full practice next week. And both those guys have a chance to be ready for week 1, so that's pretty good. And the only other thing, this was from Carroll's press conference. I couldn't find it on a lot of the bigger Twitter accounts. 12 Hawks Football had it, though, and Carroll did say it. Talking about Darrell Taylor, Carroll believes that Darrell Taylor will be back next week. So if this is true, and I heard it from a couple different sources that Darrell Taylor is going to come back to practice this week, then he should be ready for week 1. He's kind of a veteran at this point. Darrell Taylor's been in the league for a few years now. Doesn't necessarily need preseason reps. So if Darrell Taylor comes back next week, then he's got a great chance to be ready to go, because ideally, when the regular season starts, his role is going to be pretty simple. Come in on passing downs and go get the quarterback. So, good news there as well. And those are two pretty significant updates. And if you think about the other injuries on this team, Oluwatimi sounds like he almost played last night, so he's got to be very close. You got guys like Mike Morris. Doesn't sound like he has a significant injury. I expect to see him in the Green Bay preseason game, honestly. You're thinking about guys like Witherspoon supposedly has a really good chance of returning to practice this week as well, or, well, next week. I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different opinion on whether or not the week starts on Sunday or Monday, right? But most of this stuff, like K9 was in uniform yesterday. He didn't play, but the fact that he's in uniform shows how close he is. McIntosh, supposedly, according to the original timetable, should be back this week. We're going to get almost everybody back before our first real game against the Rams. Now, let's focus on what comes up this coming week, but there are your injury updates from last night.